Alright everyone, making a video today of the Seiko mini turtle. Now this is, the reference number is SRPC35K1. It came on a bracelet, which I took off immediately and put on this sailcloth strap here. But it also comes as the SRPC37K1 on a silicone strap, or the SRPC39K1 with a blue dial and blue bezel. And lastly, the SRPC41K1, which is the Patty version, has a bit of a Pepsi color theme going on, the red and the blue bezel and a really cool wave pattern dial, which I sometimes regret not getting. But yeah, they call this the mini turtle. I don't think that's a great name for it. The only thing it has in common with the big turtle is the cushion case, which is on lots of Seiko watches nowadays. So, the indices are different, way different. On the turtle, they're circular. On this watch, they're more tombstone markers, which I think is very cool, given it's just so unique. You don't see it on any other watch. Instead of a date complication, it's just the date, which I prefer. I don't know anyone who needs to know what day of the week it is. If you don't know what day of the week it is, you need to go with the program. You know what I mean? And lastly, I think just the overall look of the watch is much different than the turtle, which looks more oblong to me. This is much more of a squarish, circular watch. And lastly, I forgot to mention this: the crown is on at the 3 o'clock position on this watch, whereas in the turtle it's at the 4 o'clock, and that changes the look drastically. So I don't know. I think this watch is more of an evolution of the SKX line, just given its shape and its size. Most importantly, this watch measures 43 millimeters lug to lug with a 42 millimeter dial diameter. So very small in the Seiko diver lineup. And it's really a good size for a variety of wrist sizes. My wrist is 6.5 inches in circumference, and this watch fits me just fine. Now, there are a ton of reviews on this watch already on the internet. I'm not going to repeat all the stuff about the movement and the different features. I'm just going to talk about stuff that I've noticed in the last couple weeks since buying this watch. Now, this watch, I was afraid of the infamous Seiko QC issues with misalignment of the chapter ring with the bezel and indices, but as you can see from this angle, it is perfect. I tried to find some flaws, but no, it is spot on. So great job to the Japan factory. This watch is made in Japan, not in Malaysia, and I think overall people have a better opinion of the Japan factory. So great job. This is really well done. No QC issues anywhere. The Cyclops lens is exactly over the date aperture, which I need to talk about for a second. Check this out. No one talks about this. Look at how the date aperture is sunken into the dial. It's not just cut out. There's a good amount of depth between the top of the crystal and the actual date wheel. Look at that. And I think when you couple that with the actual Cyclops, it just adds a huge amount of depth and magnification, which is really cool. I thought I would hate the Cyclops. A lot of people like to delete the Cyclops using aftermarket crystals. I think it just balances out that 9 o'clock marker, adds not some symmetry, but just the weight of it. Another interesting element, and it also is a bit of a nod to vintage watches, as well as maybe even Rolex and their Cyclops lenses on their dials. Next, check out the dial here. It's not black. People say it's a flat black, and this is more obvious when you're outside, but look at that. Look at, in the light, it is actually really, really dark gray. and actually I hope this is coming through on the camera, it is actually not the same color as the bezel. The texture is different for one, and the bezel is darker by one shade of black. And I think that's so interesting. Like, you have to look really hard to see it, and certainly in some lighting like this, look, it looks the same, but you know, when you do that, oh, look at this angle, that dial is definitely not the same color as the bezel. I think that's really interesting. And the texture is kind of this like sparkly, maybe sparkly is not the right word, but it definitely isn't flat, and it definitely isn't smooth. There's a bit of texture there, and it definitely is a really dark gray. I do wish that there was a little bit less text going on here. There's no need for that Prospects logo. Come on, like, it looks like an X-Men thing. It's stupid. I wish Divers 200 was written in orange or dark or red, like on the SKX line. That'd be awesome. Add a splash of color. But no, life is hard. Life is hard, and you can't get everything you want. And those are really the main things that I've noticed with this watch in the time I've worn it that I haven't heard anyone talk about, at least on the internet. I don't know anyone in real life who has this watch, because it's Japan only, and you have to be a pretty big watch nerd to be ordering this watch from Asia, which is what I had to do to get it here in America. Lastly, this bezel, hopefully you can hear that. It sounds really good. It feels really stiff though. It definitely isn't as smooth or easy to turn as my old SKX 013, but there's no give. It feels high quality, just really stiff, and maybe it'll break in. I know it's unidirectional, and the clicking is controlled by a spring inside this whole mechanism. Maybe that'll break in over time. Right now, though, it's still pretty stiff. Everything else is good. I wish the crown was signed. It's just a plain old crown. If I ever get this modded, a signed crown will be one of the first mods. That'd be just so sweet to have like a S on there. You know, other than that, I'm pretty happy with this watch. It's terrific. As usual, Seiko does a great job with their Lume. I'm not even gonna have to turn the lights off to show you this. You can see already. It's just, yeah. Really awesome colors. Kind of this neon green. It looks more blue on camera, doesn't it? It's really more of a green in real life. No, but it looks excellent. Lasts forever, and even the pip in the bezel is loomed. So that's pretty cool. You know, other than that, nothing really to add to everything else that people have written about this watch. Let me pop it on my wrist. Show you guys how it looks on a 6.5-inch wrist. Here we go. As you can see, the lugs don't overhang at all. It's a really, yeah, it could fit, like I said, a huge range of wrist sizes, just based on how short it is. And you can wear it with a bracelet to accommodate a larger wrist, or leather strap for smaller NATO straps. This will go on a variety of different straps and look excellent. Patty version, man, looks excellent too. That dial is just so interesting. The blue one looks good as well. A little bit more sporty, in my opinion, and less, a little bit less dour than this black one. If I had more funds, I definitely get all three, but alas, such is life. Anyway, hope you guys enjoyed this video. Hope it was a new take on the Seiko SRPC35K1. Unfortunately named the Mini Turtle. And until next time, see ya.